In a recent interview, Tosin Abasi, guitarist for Animals as Leaders, talked about how he came across and discovered Misha Mansoor, guitarist for the progressive metal gent band, Periphery. This is what he said.
Band has the same band members. The drums are interesting. You know, there's the electronic layers. So I evolved my idea of what my solo project would be. I decided to call it a band, and I made a bunch of demos while I was in music school. But like, I had the Reflex drummer was meant to be the drummer for Animals as Leaders, but he kind of couldn't really make the cut for various reasons. He wanted to play other styles of music. So I shelved it. I moved back to DC, started teaching guitar lessons, and I discovered Periphery. Misha was just like a local guy who was putting songs on MySpace.
So did you know, you discovered the band before you knew him personally?
Actually, it was Bulb. So basically, I was living with Javier. Javier was like, yo, like someone told me I should audition for this band. They're from Bethesda, which is like this affluent suburb, right? And he played me the stuff, and I was like, this sounds ridiculously awesome. Like, and then we were like, this is one guy. These are programmed drums. Like, these are like pirated plugins, and it sounds like freaking like a, you know, like a $100,000 like record that, you know, like you spent that on the budget, right? So we were like, we have to find this person. So he basically like was auditioning for Periphery, and I like made myself go to like Misha's house, you know, and that's how I met Misha, and Misha had already known of me. So then it was just like, we were just guitar buddies. Like, he had a Petrucci 7-string. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Like a mutual admiration society.
Yeah, it's like another local guy who plays extended range guitar. And I remember hearing Bulb and being like, dude, you ever hear a musical idea and you're like, I wish I did that? Or you're like, I totally would have done it the exact same way? Yeah. That's what I heard when I first heard him. And I was just like, this guy's got it. Whatever it is, there's like, it was Icarus Lives, actually, and it was like an instrumental version. And by the time it got to what is now the chorus, I was like, this guy understands. He understands it, you know? So basically, I was just teaching lessons in DC with no real intention of really pursuing music. I actually almost moved to Sweden with this girl I was dating, and I was gonna like go to university there. Like,
Dude, you and the turtleneck in Sweden, I think would have gone over like gangbusters.
Guys, go to Sweden though.
Animals as Leaders guitarist Tosin Abasi discussed his decision to leave Ibanez, who was building his new signature guitar, telling Guitar World. Ibanez was down to do it, but the prototyping process just proved to be really lengthy. It's not the fault of Ibanez, it's just the reality of large-scale manufacturing. Also, once you plug something like locking tuners into the actual math of the whole supply chain, you're quadrupling the cost of that particular feature. So things like that made it cost prohibitive to design the guitar exactly the way I wanted, even though we love Ibanez and the great work they're doing. Andy, Alt, Steve Vai's marketing director and creator of A Little Thunder Pickups, and I were brainstorming, and he said, "Why don't you have Frank Falbo, who is a luthier, build your guitars?" I'd already commissioned an 8-string fan fret classical from him and worked with him on Fishman's Fluence pickup line, so I knew he was into innovative ideas that actually push the guitar forward as opposed to being arbitrarily different. I knew he was an extremely smart guy who's shown his abilities in very different ways. So the fact that he had the capacity to do the guitars, he's local and we already had a relationship, it was this perfect epiphany moment where I realized I had all the moving parts to take my design and do it the way I wanted. And it turns out I'm even more drawn to the processes of making guitars than I initially thought. Falbo said. It's evolved into a different instrument than Tosin's earlier prototypes, and it offers even more options. In this case, it's 6-string, 7-string, 8-string, multi-scale or straight, there are different color options and different wood options. There will be some set models, but we'll have the ability to add custom features if customers want them.